going everyone? Hope everyone's having a great day. Uchiha here and welcome back to the channel. So for the last few weeks, as you guys already know based on my Rocket League video, I haven't been uploading, so by extension I haven't actually been covering the Boruto anime like I used to. But we're back on it again, and I thought, I've finally caught up, watched episodes 140, 141 and all the way up to 143, basically the latest episode. So I'm ready to talk about the Mujina Bandits arc, which is canon, of course. For those of you who may not read the manga, this is a canon arc, but with some technicalities here and there. But whatever the case, be sure to rate, comment and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this video once you're finished watching it, and let's get right into it. So the Mujina Bandits arc is finally upon us, and I must say, one thing that should be noted, a little context here for those of you that don't actually read the manga. The Mujina Bandits arc in the manga isn't really a long arc. It's about 5 chapters. So if you translate that to like a weekly series, if it was a weekly manga, the arc would be probably about 12, probably about 13 chapters, the most, give or take. So yeah, so it's not a really long arc. So a lot of the sections that we're getting so far with these episodes to date, they weren't actually in the manga at all. So yeah, but at the same time you can't necessarily consider it filler at the same time either, but it does have its role. It does play a similar role to filler, but I'll get to that. Now in the manga we didn't get a lot on the Mujina Bandits themselves. We just got a bit on their leader Shojoji. How I'm pronouncing his name, Shojoji, and probably 1 or 2 associates of his in his whole scheme. Well, probably not. Let me not get too much into spoiler territory here. We'll get there in time. But yeah, we didn't get much about the bandits themselves. They're obviously missing Nin in the manga that have been causing problems all throughout the Fire Nation, as that was even stated in the first episode of this arc. So yeah, so what I actually like about the arc so far, it seems like it's using the screen time to actually expand on the Mujina Bandits themselves, and that's actually a good thing, because similar to the Boruto movie, which did a wonderful job of expanding on the things that the movie actually did, filling in some gaps, and it made rewatching the Boruto Naruto movie retelling in the anime worthwhile. So it seems like they're going along a similar route for the Mujina Bandits arc, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. It's still not a double-edged sword, but we still have to acknowledge the fact that yes, no matter how you slice and dice, even though it's not explicitly stated, them expanding on the story, to me at least, is a way for them to pad the story, just to allow the manga to build up even more, especially since, as I said, the arc itself in the manga isn't long at all. It's just 5 probably 6 chapters the most. So yeah, so while at the same time it's good that we're getting more on the bandits themselves, we still have to acknowledge that it's still basically padding. But so far to the 3-4 episodes, probably 3, yeah, 1-4, yeah, the 4 episodes to date so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they've been pretty decent. I don't really have much of a problem with them, but getting into the actual story so far with this revamped Mujina Bandits arc beginning, honestly the pacing is pretty good. We're literally thrown into the action right off the get-go with the first episode, as we see Boruto and Mitsuki arrive in prison, and based on the episode structure for that first episode, obviously we're going to get some flashbacks to explain how they got there. So the idea is that the Mujina Bandits, who have been identified as top criminals, they've been causing a lot of trouble in the Fire Nation, and basically Naruto and company have agreed, in collaboration with the Lord of the Castle, Blood Prison, which it's very interesting to see Blood Prison make its first official anime debut in the whole Naruto franchise. Of course it was in the movie. There was a movie called Blood Prison, but we know the movie isn't canon, quote unquote. But for those of you who don't know, yeah, of course, Blood Prison itself, the Hozuki Castle, is canon. The location, if you've read the lots of the novels, I'd say, yeah, it's been a canon location for a long time, but they just never, Kishimoto himself just never explored or dealt with or wrote about the castle within the manga, obviously. So it's cool seeing Blood Prison, and of course a lot of the callbacks from the prison are from the movie itself is in this arc. The usual seal for the prisoners, they can't use ninjutsu within the prison, etc, etc. If they try leaving, of course the seal placed on them of course causes them to burn, etc, etc. So it's cool seeing all the callbacks. I actually like it. It kind of reminds me of my time watching the movie, which was cool. So there's that. But as I said, the pacing is pretty good. We're thrown right into the quote-unquote action, and we have Boruto and Mitsuki going on the mission to investigate and protect Kokuri, a previous member of the Mujina Bandits who actually stole some money from them and did some crime, and now he's thrown into prison. So now they're trying to ascertain if he's a trustworthy source, and of course get some information from him regarding the Mujina Bandits, which should help in actually capturing them. But we know how it's going to go for those of you who actually read the manga. So there's that. Of course, I also like the fact that all members of Team 7, well, mine's Konohamaru, who's strangely not here. It's crazy, but anyway, yeah, the fact that Boruto and Mitsuki are they form one side of the team that's infiltrating the prison. Of course, it's interesting to see Sarada play the role of a fake journalist trying to get information about the Mujina Bandits, about Kokuri, and the other Mujina Bandits member Sukuyo, who's apparently the second in command that was locked up. So seeing the team actually approach the problem from two different directions, it's interesting and builds for a great dynamic. So yeah, and of course the lore of the castle, Lord Mujo is in on it. Of course, it's a collaborative effort with Konoha to actually solve this case. No, piercing aside, one thing I like about these episodes so far is that there's no trace of the one main problem that the Boruto anime has had to date, and that's the soft reboot of Boruto's character. And it's something I've actually touched on before, where it kind of felt like every arc, some of the lessons that Boruto, or some of the things that he already went through that developed his character, he in a sense has to keep going through those lessons, and basically the development that he would have gotten and the behavior he should be displaying after said development, he doesn't display it, and essentially has to be going back through the same character developments and character growth almost every arc, which is part of the problem why the Boruto anime always feels like it's going nowhere for the most part, because the Boruto Naruto the movie events, the events of the Momoshiki arc, is a very pivotal. It's a crucial time in Boruto's development, and going forward, if you're a manga reader, his development is on display right after that arc. But since the anime kind of has to keep doing all of these other arcs before getting to this point, the Mujina Bandits arc, yeah, we've been having that problem with Boruto's character for the most part. So far there's really no trace of that, and I like it so far. There seems to be this heavy focus on the mission itself, and especially it's the fact that it's done, the execution, it focuses on them covertly or tactically approaching getting the information out of Kokuri. And the fact that they're in Blood Prison, a location where they, well, by right, in the movie, Naruto's chakra was sealed, but in this case, Boruto and Mitsuki, their chakra, they can still use ninjutsu, but they're just not allowed to, because it would kind of blow their cover for the mission. But the fact that they have to approach the mission in such a way that the thing that makes the show special, in a sense, one of the aspects of the show, and the thing that's built the show to be this good to this point, quote unquote, are the fact that they can't use ninjutsu allows the characters to approach things in a different from a different perspective, a different aspect, a different they have to come up with different plans in terms of ascertaining or achieving their mission. And one thing you have to take in mind or into consideration is that when you have a series where you repetitively do something arc after arc, and then in say this particular arc you make the characters like approach things differently, it kind of, depending on the execution, it can be a breath of fresh air. And that's one of the reasons I feel like a lot of persons actually even like the Moro arc in Dragon Ball Super, the manga at the moment. So yeah, food for thought. So far I think it's the focus on just being tactical and covert and just using strategy to actually, you know, navigate the prison, pretty good. I like it so far. It kind of creates a certain vibe, if I'm being honest. So yeah, and as I said, even the focus on the Mujina Bandits arc, expanding on them potentially, it kind of feels like the arc is just focused on eventually giving us more information on them. And honestly, I like the pacing so far, but I'm hoping it doesn't drag along too long at the same time. As I said, they still have to pad things out. They can't just rush into the manga content because it's pretty short for the Mujina Bandits arc. Honestly, they could probably, if they started with the manga content, they could probably cover it in I'd say probably 5, probably like 7, probably 8 episodes. It would be a short arc, so of course. So yeah, the things are working out so far. My only complaint so far, honestly, is that I feel we could get more Sarada. I feel like we need to see Sarada. We've had a lot of Boruto and Mitsuki things from their perspective so far, but to kind of throw it up and, you know, make the art feel more dynamic, let's see more Sarada. We've gotten a bit of her, you know, here and there, but I think we need to see more of her. And the fact that Sakuyo actually knows that she's a fake reporter, I think that's just what we need to kind of throw the loop into this first section of the arc. So yeah. Of course, one thing I was kind of concerned about going into the arc was the fact if it would have any like contradictions, because of course they're expanding on the arc before the events of what happened in the manga, but of course we have to make sure like going forward it doesn't actually contradict what we're going to get, unless they're going to change a lot of things going forward. But so far it doesn't seem like it contradicts anything, so yeah. But anyway, so far it's a good start. It's a good start. I'm not gonna say that this kind of catapults the Boruto anime to like, you know, some god level stuff, but it's a good start to the arc, and I'm still patiently waiting for them to get into the events of the manga. Of course, I know it's we're gonna have to expect some more padding and, you know, just to ensure that we don't catch up to the manga, but it is what it is. Can't expect anything more than that. So yeah, but anyway, let me know what you think about the Mujina Bandits arc in the anime so far, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and give me a yow in the comments. So yeah. Hope everyone's having a great day. Of course, again, I apologize for the absence for the last few weeks, guys. Like, I've been just feeling out of it, being caught up with work and all that jazz. So yeah, it's just been hectic for the most part. So yeah, but you don't know it's it, so just life. But I'm back and hope to be back more consistently again. So yeah, see you guys in the next one.